Welcome to the Structure Management System video training series. In this video, I'm going to discuss the approach form within an in-progress inspection report. You'll notice that the elements are on the left, beginning with approach wearing surface. The navigation pane is expanded on the right-hand side. And as I collapse the navigation pane by selecting the arrow, we will see the inventory shortcuts exposed on the right-hand side. For a full inventory, by expanding back the forms view, a full inventory can be located at the bottom, and many of the forms have dedicated inventory portions. The approach full inventory is within the deck form. These navigation panes on the right-hand side, the form view can be collapsed to show only the subsections. For the inspector to focus only on certain portions. I'm going to collapse the navigation pane and discuss the elements one at a time. Each element has a total quantity and a condition. The total quantity are units that will be defined to the right of the text of the element. An inspector in the form is to answer three basic questions. What is there? For example, what type of element? Concrete, bituminous. How much of it is there? And what is its condition? The inspector is able to answer the last question, what is its condition, in two different ways. By performing a condition rating inspection, by selecting a 1, 2, 3, or 4, and when elements are not present, selecting blank. Condition rating inspection or element level inspection. An element level inspection is, instead of the drop down 1, 2, 3, or 4, the 4 boxes are stratified from left to right into state 1, 2, 3, and 4. Transition rating on the right-hand side is automatically calculated and is intended to help the inspector see what they would have given it on a 1, 2, 3, or 4 condition rating. Within element level, the inspector is able to toggle between quantity or percentage, depending on whichever is more useful or helpful or easier to get the appropriate values. For the remainder of this video, I'm going to talk within the condition rating inspection of an approach form. For each element, I'll describe the units and if we intend on changing any of these, and the total quantity and how it's linked to the inventory shortcuts. Approach wearing surface is currently square footage. An approach wearing surface is going to change later in 2014 to each. So you will give the total quantity a value of each. Most structures will have one oncoming and a second one leaving the structure. So 2 approach wearing surfaces. Condition ratings assigned. Inspectors are able to supplement their condition rating using text, free-form text box. If the inspector scrolls down to the bottom of the form, they'll see the text that was brought in from the legacy BMS information. It's up to the inspector if they so desire to highlight, copy, and paste their text, or they can start with new text. Approach slabs is currently a square footage, and it will remain a square footage. SMS is multiplying the approach roadway width times the approach slab length already in the BMS inventory. In cases where the equation is not the actual present appropriate total quantity, the inspector is then or must then go in and change the total quantity. Any changes made to the total quantity will then overwrite any future equations from the inventory to the total quantity. We anticipate this happening for approach slabs when the slabs do not go and extend all the way to the approach roadway width, where they just extend a portion smaller than the approach roadway width. Scrolling down to embankment, you'll notice embankment is currently linear foot. Later in 2014, that linear foot will change to each. Most structures will have 4 embankments. The inventory shortcuts as a case in point for embankment. These inventory shortcuts will be changed to match the future units, the future predicted units. So this will change to each, and the feet will drop off, and the inspector will then be able to type in 4, and then when the screen is refreshed, it will map in 4 into the total quantity. So inspectors are able to type in the actual within the inventory shortcuts. Guardrail is linear foot, and it is another one that will change to each. And if there are any guardrail portions past the structure, past the end or the extent of the structure, encouraged to begin typing however many guardrails there are. Most structures will have 4. And likewise, item 400, approach guardrail length, will be changed to approach guardrail count. The inspector is able to type in 4, and when the screen is refreshed, that 4 will populate the total quantity. Relief joints will remain linear foot, and those elements not present are not present based off of what the inventory is indicating. So for example, relief joints would be visible if this drop-down were changed. Approach pavement wearing surface type were changed to something more rigid, such as concrete. You'll notice asterisks next to inventory shortcuts. Those asterisks denote that this inventory item displays the element or hides the element. Upon completing condition ratings or element level ratings, the inspector will notice a red box around the worst condition rating, the worst controlling bold box condition rating, or it will be a red box around the transition rating for an element level inspection. And this red box is indicating what the recommended value is keying on. Because this is rated a 2, the recommended value is a 5 or a 6, and the intent of the recommended value is only to help the inspector code within an acceptable range. Now the inspector is still able to code outside of that range. Depending on site conditions, severity, extent, the actual location of the deficiencies, or even the rate of change. The inspector is in control of coding the 9 through 0. In order to navigate to the next form as you continue coding the inspection report, simply open the forms and go to the next appropriate form.